The road was exactly 4 miles long. Daniel Mercer drove it every single day for 11 years. To work, back home, to the grocery store, back home. He knew every curve, every pothole, every bent guardrail and faded yellow line. Then one Tuesday in October, he turned around at the end of it, and the road had 6 miles left to go. He never reached the other end. Welcome to the faint whisper, where the roads don't always bring you back, and some case files end mid-sentence, right where the trees begin.
The faint whisper.
Search teams in Harlan County suspended efforts late Friday after failing to locate a local young East Asian man along Route 9 Forest Access Road.
Case 1. His name was Daniel Mercer, 43 years old, a land surveyor who had spent 2 decades mapping rural roads in eastern Tennessee. If anyone understood terrain, it was him. Daniel lived at the end of a private access road, a narrow, unpaved stretch his neighbors called Mill Trace. 4 miles in, 4 miles out. Simple. He drove it so often he stopped thinking about it. His truck knew the route the way a hand knows a light switch in the dark. On the morning of October 14th, his wife Carol expected him home by noon. A short supply run, maybe an hour round trip. He did not come home at noon. By 3 in the afternoon, Carol drove Mill Trace herself. She found his truck at the far end. Engine off, keys in the ignition, door left open. His coffee was still warm in the cup holder. What she did not find was Daniel. She called the sheriff. Search and rescue arrived within the hour. They walked the tree line. They called his name into the wood. What investigators discovered 3 days later would not make it into any official press release. It came instead from a deputy named Arlo Finch, who gave a single informal statement to a local podcast before going completely silent on the matter. Deputy Finch said that when search teams drove Mill Trace from Daniel's truck back toward the main road, back the way they came, the road kept going. He said they drove for 11 miles before it ended somewhere they didn't recognize. Rolling hills, no farmhouses, no highway, no cell signal. They turned around again, and it was 4 miles home. Finch quit the department 6 weeks later. He moved out of state. He has not spoken publicly since. Daniel Mercer's case remains open. The official report lists the cause of disappearance as unknown. His personal surveying notes, the ones he always kept in his glove box, were never found. The only thing left in that truck, besides the coffee, was a single photograph. A printout of a map he had made himself. In red pen, across the center of it, he had written one word: longer. Case 2. Her name was Priya Noel, 31 years old, a wildlife photographer based out of northern Michigan, who spent most of her working life in places other people were afraid to go alone. She was not easily rattled. Her friends said that often.
They found the body near the old logging road.
Her editor said it. Her mother said it.
I have to get back there before dark.
In late August, Priya drove into the Wexford State Forest to photograph a reported owl nesting site. She had GPS. She had a satellite communicator. She had done this dozens of times. She checked in at 7:14 in the morning. By 7:52, she sent a single voice message to her editor. The audio still exists. It has been shared among researchers who study these cases. In the recording, she sounds calm, focused, maybe slightly confused. She says, "There's a sign here I've never seen before. Says road ends, do not reverse." Kind of strange wording. "I'm going to pull forward and see what's past it. I'll call you from the site." She did not call from the site. Her satellite communicator registered one final ping at 8:03, about a quarter mile past where the sign would have been, based on the coordinates. After that, nothing. Searchers found her vehicle 2 days later. It was parked, not abandoned, not crashed, neatly pulled to the side of the road, hazard lights still blinking. Her camera equipment was in the back. Her lunch was on the passenger seat. Her camera had taken 47 photographs that morning. The first 39 were normal. Treetops, lichen on bark, the blurred wings of something mid-flight. Photographs 40 through 46 were different. They showed the road ahead of her, a long, straight dirt road lined with identical pine trees on both sides. But in each consecutive photo, the road appeared longer. The tree line stretched. The vanishing point moved further back, as though the lens was pulling away from something that refused to get closer. The 47th photograph was of the sign. She had turned around to photograph it from the other side. It read, "Do not reverse." Priya Noel has not been found. The sign, when investigators returned, was not there. No post holes, no disturbed earth. Her editor still has the voice message saved on his phone. He says he listens to it sometimes, not to analyze it, but because it's the last time she sounded like herself. Case 3. Thomas Vale was 56, a retired school teacher from rural Oregon who spent his weekends taking his grandson, Owen, on drives through the Cascade foothills. Owen was 8 years old, bright, the kind of child who narrated everything he saw aloud, like a small, earnest documentary host. Thomas had a favorite loop, a 15-mile forest road that curved through second-growth Douglas fir and came back out near a river where they sometimes threw stones. He had driven it at least 30 times. He called it the Eagle Road, though it had no official name on any map. On a clear Saturday in June, Thomas and Owen set out at mid-morning. Owen, as always, was counting things. Fence posts, mailboxes, signs. He liked to keep a tally in a small spiral notebook he kept in his jacket pocket. What happened next comes from Owen directly. He spoke to his grandmother and, later, to a family counselor, and his account has remained perfectly consistent across every telling. Children, investigators noted, rarely maintain false consistency. Their stories shift, embellish, drift. Owen's never did. He said they drove the Eagle Road the usual way. He counted 14 fence posts on the left side. He always counted 14. He had counted them before. Then his grandfather turned around to head home. Owen counted the fence posts again, on the right side now, which used to be the left. He counted 22. He told his grandfather. Thomas slowed down and looked. He told Owen he must have miscounted. Owen said nothing. He counted again. 22. Thomas kept driving. The road continued. After what felt to both of them like too long, the tree line began to change. The firs gave way to a different kind of tree, darker, denser, unfamiliar. Thomas said later in a brief written statement that he had the sudden and total certainty that he was not on the same road anymore. He stopped the truck. He made Owen stay inside. He walked back 20 feet and looked at the road behind him. He said it was not the road they had come from. Thomas got back in the truck. He turned around again, facing the original direction of travel. He drove. After 6 minutes, they came out at the river. The right place. Their usual spot. Owen got out and threw stones. He did not speak for a while. Then he opened his notebook and showed his grandfather the tally. The fence posts on the way back to the river, the third stretch of road after the second turn, numbered 31. Thomas Vale never drove the Eagle Road again. He contacted a local researcher who documented unusual geographic cases. He submitted his written statement. Then he stopped responding to follow-up messages entirely. He told his wife only one thing about that day. He said, "The road didn't get longer, it got further." Those aren't the same thing. No one who has heard that statement has been able to explain exactly what he meant. Owen still has the notebook. 3 cases, 3 forest roads, 3 people who turned around. The researchers who study these accounts, and there are a small number who do, quietly without institutional support, have identified what they cautiously call a consistent signature. The road does not change on the way in. It changes only on return. Only after the traveler has decided to go back. In every documented case, the following details appear. A change in measured distance, a detail the subject can verify from a previous count or memory, a moment where the surrounding landscape subtly shifts to something unrecognized, and then, usually, a return to the correct location, as though the road corrects itself after a delay. In the cases where the subject does not return, that last step simply never happens. Researchers have not agreed on a mechanism. Some point to known phenomena, dissociative episodes under isolation stress, spatial disorientation in featureless terrain, odometer anomalies in older vehicles. But Daniel Mercer was a surveyor. Priya Noel had GPS. Owen Vale was 8 years old and counting fence posts in a spiral notebook. The files don't offer explanations. They only offer the same details, repeated, across different states, different decades, different kinds of people. A road goes in, a road comes back. And sometimes, between those two directions, something stretches. If you have driven a forest road and felt that the return trip was longer than it should have been, most people dismiss it. Fatigue, distraction, the mind collapsing time. Maybe that's all it is. But the next time you're on a road like that, the kind with trees pressing close on both sides, no landmarks, no signal, pay attention on the way back. Count something you counted on the way in. A fence post, a mile marker, a bend in the road. Just count. And if the number is different, don't stop, don't get out. And whatever you do, don't turn around again. The cases referenced in this episode are presented as dramatized accounts based on documented anomaly reports and researcher interviews. Names have been changed. Specific locations have been withheld. If you have experienced a road anomaly of this type, a measurable change in distance, a landscape shift during a return trip, a detail that doesn't match, the faint whisper wants to hear from you. The link is in the description. If this reached you, subscribe, leave a comment, and share this with someone who takes long drives alone. They'll thank you. Or they won't come back to. The faint whisper. The files don't close. They echo.